we have left?
Okay, so Moijan, we ended up with this equation right here, 2x squared plus 20x plus 50 equals to 0. Once we set it equal to the quadratic equal to 0. We factored out the GCF of 2, okay? So we got x squared plus 10x plus 25. Now, we needed to factor the trinomial inside the parentheses. We had to find two numbers, two factors of 25, two numbers that multiply to give us 25. And when we add them together, we get 10. Those two values are positive 5 and positive 5. So your factors would be x plus 5 and x plus 5. So what you should notice is that this is a repeated factor which you can rewrite as x plus 5 squared, because the x plus 5 is multiplying itself, okay? So now that you have your factors, you can actually take the factors, set it equal to 0, and solve. But an easier process is to ask yourself this question: what number plus 5 will make the parentheses equal to 0, guys, okay? Because your goal is to figure out the number that would zero out this equation, make the entire equation equal out to 0. That's it. So that number that makes this equation equal out to 0, that number plus 5 that makes it equal out to 0, makes the parentheses 0, is negative 5. Because the number and its opposite, when you add them up together, okay?
The sound cut.
So that number, when you add it to 5, that will make it equal to 0 is negative 5, guys, okay? So that's all you were looking for. I sound muffled again. Is it sounding better? You can't hear me anymore. My volume is, let me see here, let me cut off. Whenever you start recording your audio phase, I can't hear you no more. Volume is low. Okay, let me see if I could put up my volume a little bit more. Is this better on the volume?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm having issues with my computer right now, so I'm recording the volume on my tablet while I'm recording on the computer, guys. All right, so Moijan, does that make sense to you now?
Yes, it makes sense, but will it always be like the two numbers that equal C? What if like there's no, say, number 21? 7 times 3 equals 21, but there aren't like two numbers that would equal 21.
Okay, so what you're talking about, Moijan, if you get one of these problems that cannot multiply to give you C and add to give you B, then you probably have a problem that cannot be factored. If it cannot be factored, there's other techniques we use to solve these quadratics. We have completing the square. I don't know if your teacher mentioned that. We have the quadratic formula. That's another one. I don't know if your teacher mentioned it yet. But yes, factoring is not the only technique we use to solve quadratic equations. There's several techniques to solve quadratic equations, okay? Like if I were to go and graph this problem, guys, on the XY plane, because there's only one solution, guys, okay, that means that the graph is going to touch the x-axis at that one solution. We've already established that the quadratic is going to open up, guys. So when you graph it, the graph is going to look something like this. So Moijan, they could actually give you this graph right here and ask you, what is the 0? What is the root? What is the solution? What is the x-intercept? So all of these, they mean the exact same thing. What are the solutions? So when you're solving a quadratic, there are various ways to solve quadratics, guys. We have factoring, which we just did. We have graphing, which is what you're looking at on the screen. We have the quadratic formula, which I'm not sure you guys have covered yet, as well as completing the square. And there's another method we call the square root property. I don't think you guys have spoken about it yet. And the square root property, guys, is another simple one. Like this problem that you just had, x plus 5 squared, okay, equals to 0. You could have taken the square root of both sides, okay? Although you don't need to be doing all of that. Square root of 0 is 0, look at that. And then you subtract 5 from both sides, guys. you get x is equal to -5. I was just making a point, but you really shouldn't be taking the square root of both sides to solve this one out. So there's various techniques. So Moijan, if you encounter something that you cannot find two factors for C that will add up to B, then you probably have to use a different method, okay? Now, the other thing is, Moijan, I heard you mention the AC method. Now, for the AC method, basically, I would not be using the AC method on this problem that we just did. And let me tell you why when you use the AC method, because this is an easy trinomial, guys. When you have a trinomial in the form of x squared plus bx plus c, that's an easy trinomial. Why is it easy? Because there's basically nothing in front of x squared. Although, guys, remember, when you have an x squared, the coefficient is 1, okay? So this is an easy one. Now, Moijan, the times when you want to use the AC method is when you have a leading coefficient that is not equivalent to 1, okay? That is not equivalent to 1. So A is not equal to 1. When you have these type of leading coefficients, then no, you do not want to use the AC method. Unless, of course, Rihanna gave me, Rihanna, I already have your problem, but if you want to go ahead and give me one, absolutely, you can give me one, okay? And I'll give you the steps to the AC method too, okay? You can definitely give me one. I know I have one in the chat somewhere. I can go ahead and pull it up, or you can give me a brand new one, Rihanna. That's fine. I don't mind, okay? So, here's Rihanna's problem, guys, okay? This is the original problem she asked in the chat. 2x minus 1 is equal to negative 8x squared. 2x minus 1 equal to negative 8x squared, okay? Now, guys, first, like I mentioned before, you need to set your quadratic equal to 0. You need to get the quadratic on one side, okay? So as I mentioned with the previous problem, guys, you want your quadratic term, your x squared term, to be positive. So what do? You want to take that negative 8x squared, move it over to the left side. And because it was a negative on the right, when you move it over, guys, it will become a positive. So 8x squared plus 2x minus 1, Sugar Plum, set it equal to 0. Bam. Now, once you get it here, Moijan, what do you notice? The leading coefficient is not equal to 1. And this is your A value here, okay? So because it's not equal to 1, this is what we call a hard trinomial. Why is it hard? Because, guys, the leading coefficient right here is not equal to 1. Since the leading coefficient is not equal to 1, then you have to use other techniques to factor this, okay? So, guys, here's the technique we use to factor these hard trinomials. We call it the AC method, okay? And this is how the AC method works, okay? I am going to give you some steps. Maybe you might need to write them down, the AC method. The first thing you need to do is to go ahead and find the product of A and C. Multiply A and C, okay? Multiply A and C together, guys. Find the product of A and C, okay? Which one is A? 8 is A. This is your A value, and this is your C value over here, okay? So we're gonna multiply 8 times negative 1, guys, which gives us a negative 8. Now, number 2, you gotta find two factors, as in two numbers, okay? Two factors of AC, you know, whose sum is B, Whoops, hold up a second, guys, I wrote the wrong thing. Whose sum is B. Two numbers, listen to this, guys. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 8. And when you add them together, it gives you positive 2. You get a positive 2 when you add them together. They multiply to give you negative 8, add to give you a positive 2. So what are those two numbers? Think about numbers that multiply to give you a negative 8, guys. So you have a negative 4 times positive 2, or you have positive 4 times negative 2. So the 2 that would work would be the positive 4 and the negative 2, guys, okay? So hold on to that thought. Here comes step number 3. Step number 3, we're going to rewrite the trinomial, tri meaning 3, guys, the trinomial, okay, by splitting up the middle term. You splitting the middle term. Split the middle term. We're going to split the middle term to 2 terms. What 2 terms are we going to split it up to? We're going to split it up, guys, into the sum of 4 and negative 2. So what in the world am I talking about? Let me show you guys. I'm going to erase some of this. I'm going to erase some of it, guys. Here comes the erasing. Pay attention, guys. I'm erasing, okay? So I'm erasing up here, erasing all over here. So I can rewrite that trinomial by splitting up the middle term, guys, so that when I rewrite it, guys, let me show you what it's going to become. Hold on a second. Let me take some of the stuff out, okay? So, guys, I'm going to start rewriting this. Pay attention, guys, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this as 8x squared, okay? Here comes the splitting. This 2x, guys, I'm going to split it up into positive 4x minus 2x. Positive 4x minus 2x is still 2x. Where am I getting this positive 4x minus 2x from? Right here, sugar plums, right there. You see that? Those 2 factors right there, the 4, the negative 2, and then minus 1, guys, equal to 0. So now, guys, what do I have? I have a 4-term polynomial. Now, how do we factor a 4-term polynomial? We factor a 4-term polynomial by grouping, okay? We factor a 4-term polynomial by grouping, everybody. By grouping, okay? That's how we factor a 4-term polynomial. We factor it by grouping, everyone. So on this one, guys, listen, for you to factor it, you know what? Let me go ahead and erase this at the bottom too, okay? Because I need space, guys, okay? I'm going to erase all of this over here, clear it out. I'm clearing all this out, everybody. All right, everyone. So let's look, everybody. Grouping. So here's how we're going to do it, guys. We're going to put a set of parentheses around the first 2 terms, a set of parentheses around the last 2 terms. Factoring by grouping is just like what it sounds, guys. We have a 4-term polynomial. We're going to break it up into 2 subgroups. Are you guys listening to me? You got it? Okay, we're going to break it up into 2 groups. Okay, very good. So now, guys, look at the first group, 8x squared plus 4x. What do they have in common? What's the GCF? What's the GCF with 8x squared and 4x? That would be 4x. So we're going to factor out the 4x from the first group. So if you take 8x squared divided by 4x, that leaves you with 2x. And you take 4x, you divide by 4x, guys. What does that leave you with? Positive 1. Now, go to the second group, guys, the second parentheses. What do these 2 terms have in common? And it's obvious, sugar plums. What do they have in common? A negative 1, sugar plum. Why? Because both terms are negative. And when you factor by grouping, guys, it is a must for these 2 parentheses to be identical to each other. This one and this one here, they must be identical. Why? Because that parentheses there becomes a GCF. And guys, you're going to factor it out. And when you factor it out from here, sugar plums, you have 4x left over to go into the other parentheses. When you factor it out from here, sugar plums, take it out from here. What do you have left over? Minus 1 for the other parentheses, okay? That's the AC method. That is what you guys were asking about earlier. And these type of trinomials, guys, we call them hard trinomials. Why? As you can tell, because, guys, they're hard to factor, okay? It takes time. It's time consuming for you to factor them, okay? So are we done with the problem? No, we're not done because we didn't find the roots or the zeros yet, guys. We're still looking for the roots or the zeros, okay? So now, guys, we have the factors. We can take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve, okay? I am going to erase this because I'm running out of room here, guys. 2x plus 1, 4x minus 1. 2x plus 1, these are the factors, times 4x minus 1 equals to 0. Now, guys, let's do the work. We're going to take each factor, sugar plums. Look at this. Set them equal to 0 and solve, sugar plums. Look, sugar plums, look. You ready? Let's solve it out. -1 from both sides. Okay? And so once we subtract 1 from both sides, we get 2x equals to -1. Divide both sides by 2, sugar plums. And just like that, we get x equals to -1/2. Bam. That's one of your answers. The other one, we're going to add 1 to both sides, everybody. Add 1 to both sides. You get 4x is equal to 1, sugar plum. Divide both sides by 4, sugar plums. So you get x is equal to 1/4, sugar plums. So there's your 2 roots, the zeros, okay? The solutions, the x-intercepts, guys. Quick question, guys. You drop it in the chat. Since we just finished solving this problem right here, if we were to graph this problem, how many times would the graph intersect the x-axis, guys? How many times would the graph intersect the x-axis? Since we just found the solutions, drop that in the chat, guys. Based on the solutions, how many times would you expect the graph of this quadratic equation to intersect the x-axis? How many times? Come on, guys, that's not a tricky question. Everybody should be able to get the answer to that one. Seriously, everybody. Okay, that's not a tricky question. We just finished solving the problem. How many times would the graph intersect the x-axis? Oh, sugar plums. Oh, sugar plums. We need to chat because I'm seeing once, I'm seeing 4, I'm seeing I'm not sure, and I'm seeing nothing from some of you.
Once.
Oh, okay. Somebody just said once. I think that was that you, Shaq, who just said once?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moijan said twice. Guys, listen. Okay. Let me say this to you one more time. Okay. Well, I'm probably going to say it many more times. The number of times a graph intersects the x-axis or touches the x-axis reflects the number of solutions. Okay. So when we talk about the x-intercepts, the roots, the zeros, the solutions, they all mean the exact same thing, guys, okay? So whenever the graph intersects the x-axis, that's a solution. So we got 2 solutions for this problem. How many times is the graph of the equation going to intersect the x-axis? Twice, because there's 2 solutions, guys. Yeah. So you need to know information like that, guys. So here's a graph, okay? How many times is it intersecting the x-axis? 2 times. So the question might come at you, how many solutions does this graph have? How many solutions does this quadratic have? Yeah, they may not ask you to find the solutions. They may just ask you, how many solutions does it have, guys? And you have to be ready to answer those questions, okay? Now, guys, what if the graph never intersects the x-axis? Let's say you have something like this, guys, where the graph doesn't intersect the x-axis. How many solutions would it have if it never intersects the x-axis? How many solutions?
None.
Yes, very good. None, 0. Very good, okay? By the way, these are the ones that will lead to imaginary solutions. So these graphs would have 2 imaginary solutions if you had a quadratic like this. But I don't think you guys study the imaginary numbers in this class. I'm not quite sure, okay? So, how are you guys feeling about everything I just mentioned? Do you guys want to go ahead and, let me see here. Look at a different question, because I was going to go ahead and go into the review packet I sent you guys so I can go over some problems from there, because I know some people said they had questions. No? You guys are good? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for saying that. All right, so let me go ahead and get this review packet going. If I could only find it. Hold up a second, guys. Let me find it for you. Let me stop sharing here. Okay, I need to go ahead and get it on here. Well, I did see it. There it is. And let's go ahead and go on Zoom here. And let me try and share this. All right, there it is. Come on. Yes. Yay. All right, guys. So here we are. Okay, can we move this out of the way? Is there a way to move that out of the way? Okay, I don't see how to move that out of the way, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and look at these. All right, guys. So right here, everybody, let's look. Let's quickly run through some of these. And then I will look for some word problems and do some word problems with you guys. Look at number one, guys. What is the product of the following expression? You guys quickly do that one for me. By the way, sugar plums, let me give you some tidbits on this, okay? When you're working with multiple choice options like this, guys, the first thing you need to do, guys, is to go ahead and eliminate some of the answer choices, guys. How do you know which answer choice to eliminate? Listen to this, guys. Are you listening? First and foremost, guys, you know this is being squared, 3x plus 6 squared. If you take 6, you square it, 6 squared, 6 raised to the second power, or 6 times 6 is 36. Well, this one doesn't have a 36. A doesn't have a 36, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of A. Can I annotate directly on here? All right, hold on a second, guys. Let me get my annotation going. How do I annotate on here? Hold on a second. I'm trying to write on here, guys. Oh, there we go. All right. I think this will do it. Okay, there we go. So, guys, the answer cannot be A. Get rid of A, sugar plums. Okay. So next, guys, okay, the problem here, what is the difference between C and D? Look at C and D, guys. Do you see the difference between C and D? One of them has 18x, one of them has 36x, okay? That's the difference between the two. And then of course, option B has 2 terms, okay? So you gotta know, when you multiply a binomial squared, guys, what do you get? Do you get a trinomial or do you get a binomial? Do you get 2 terms or do you get 3 terms? So which one do you guys think the answer is? Drop it in the chat,
B.
guys. Okay, I heard B. Oh, okay. You guys were dropping it in the chat. I was just paying attention. Let me see. Oh, sugar plums. Oh, sugar plums. Yeah, let's talk, sugar plums. I see you guys give me all these B's, sugar plums. Oh, I'm glad we decided to go over this, guys. Let's look. 3x plus 6, sugar plums. This is the safest thing to do. Rewrite this so that the binomial is multiplying itself, guys. 3x plus 6 times 3x plus 6, okay? So we know 3x times 3x is 9x squared. That's good. That's good. Every one of these, B, C, and D, that they have the 9x squared. We know 6 times 6, guys, is 36. But guys, listen, for this problem, you're supposed to FOIL, okay? You're supposed to FOIL. When you FOIL, guys, how many times are you multiplying? 4 times, okay? 4 times. You're multiplying 4 times. FOIL, that's 4 letters. So you're multiplying 4 times, guys. So what happens? 3x times 3x, 9x squared. We got that. Then you do 3x times 6. That's the outer terms. That's 18x. Then you do the inner terms or the inside terms. That's another 18x, guys. And then finally, you do the 6 times 6. That's the last terms. That's how you get the 36. So, guys, you got to add these 2 together. So the answer is actually D, guys. Shazam. Ooh. Yeah, guys. Oh. Okay, guys, I'm a little concerned. All right, so then let's move on to number 2, guys. I hope everybody gets this one right. Guys, process of elimination. Let me show you what you're going to do on this one. For example, guys, 2x times negative 5. That's going to give you a negative 10x. This one doesn't have negative 10x. Get rid of it. This one doesn't have negative 10x. Get rid of it. This one doesn't have negative 10x. And just like that, guys, you have your answer. That's common sense. That's what we call work smart, not hard. Work smart, not hard. Yeah, guys, work smart, not hard. I know. Work smart, not hard, everybody. Come on. You guys are good? I didn't let you guys do that one, so I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to let you guys do number 3. Try number 3, guys. Try number 3. Try number 3. Let me erase this. Okay, everybody, try number 3. Try number 3, everybody. Try number 3. Good old-fashioned common sense, guys. Use some good old-fashioned common sense. Come on now, guys. You can do this. Okay, drop the answers in the chat. Let me see what kind of answers you guys have. Guys, work smart, not hard. Seriously, work smart, not hard. No answers yet? Oh, sugar plums. We need to work on those test-taking strategies. All right, guys. So here's the test-taking strategy on this one. Listen, guys, okay? You're going to have to multiply these two together, okay? So, guys, once you're done multiplying those two binomials, you're going to have to combine like terms. So let's start with the easiest part of the problem so we can go ahead and eliminate some of the answer choices. So, guys, we're going to have to multiply 3 times -6. That's -18. Then we're going to have to add it to +30. What's -18 plus 30, guys? That's going to be +12. So, guys, just knowing that, you can eliminate letter. What is this? Is this on A? Why is this on A? That's weird. Okay, get rid of this one too, guys, because that doesn't give you a +12. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that leaves you with either E or C. I don't like the way they put these letters in here, guys, okay? I don't think it's like that on the actual test. Okay, guys, so now the next question is, guys, let's look. What is the difference between E and C? E has a 4x squared, C doesn't. So, guys, let's see what happens, okay? Let me go ahead and erase some of this. I'm going to erase some of this, okay? So we eliminated this choice, eliminate this choice right here. So that leaves us with E or C. So, guys, let's multiply 2x times x, 2x squared. And then, guys, we're going to subtract the 2x squared. Look at this, guys. 2x squared takes away 2x squared. 2x squared takes away 2x squared, okay? So do you have any more x squareds left? No. So there goes that one. That's C. Guys, I am really concerned. You guys are not giving me the answers. Okay. So now I'm even afraid of giving you this one right here, guys. Which expresses the area of the shaded region, guys, okay? So let's talk about this one, guys, okay? So you've got this rectangle here with another rectangle inside of it, guys. And so the question is, what I'm concerned. Okay. So the question is to find the shaded region. What's the area of the shaded region, guys, okay? So guys, basically you have a large rectangle. That's your large rectangle right here. And then you're going to subtract, take out the small rectangle, okay? So essentially, guys, if you wanted to summarize this, you could say, I'm going to take the area of the large triangle and take away the area of the small triangle. Let's see if you guys can do this one. And this is an old algebra one. You'll see this is an old one, guys. Very old. But it's a review nonetheless. By the way, this is a word problem, a type of word problem, guys, okay? It's not, it's still a word problem. And then for tomorrow's group, guys, what I'm gonna do is just continue with the same packet and then send you guys the video recording. So make sure you guys look at the video, okay? All right? Did anybody come up with an answer yet? Okay, guys, quick question. How do we calculate the area of a rectangle? I see something's in the chat. Let me see what I'm seeing here. Can you zoom out a little, please? Yes, I can zoom out a little bit. Word problems are my weakness. Okay, Commander, remember, Sugar Plum, we're gonna work on that confidence. I know you said it's your weakness, but Sweetie Pie, listen, you have the tools. Just don't allow the word problems to intimidate you. I think most of the time students allow the word problems to intimidate them and they think they can't do it, but in actuality, you guys have so much you can do that you don't think you can't do. You can, okay? There's so much you can do, okay? You're way more capable than you think you are, okay? So don't allow these word problems to intimidate you. All right, guys. So my question to you was this. How do you find the area of a rectangle? Somebody, turn on the mic and tell me, guys. How do you calculate the area of a rectangle? Nobody? Oh, Sugar Plums. It's low again. Is this better? Is that better? No? It's still bad? Okay. So nobody can tell me how to find, okay, yes. How do you find the area of a rectangle, Sugar Plum? These are rectangles. How do you calculate the area of a rectangle?
Length times width.
Very good. Length times the width. This is your length, and this is your width right here, guys. So for the large rectangle, the area would be the length, 3x plus 7, times the width, 3x minus 1, okay? Now, the small rectangle would be the length, 2x plus 5, times the width, which is x. And guys, remember, you got to find the difference between the two, okay? So now, Sugar Plums, listen. Think about what I've been mentioning to you guys, okay? Now, I want you to notice, guys, all of these have a -7 in there. All the answer choices, they have a -7. So don't worry about the -7. Don't worry about that at all, okay, guys? What you need to worry about is the first term. For the first term, guys, we're going to multiply 3 times 3x here. 3x times 3x. That's 9x squared, Sugar Plums, okay? Now, Sugar Plums, listen carefully, guys. We're working smart, not hard. I am not going to do the entire problem through with you. If you want me to go do the entire problem, I can. But we want to work smart, not hard, because I do believe the test is time. So guys, if you take x, you multiply it by 2x, what do you get? You get 2x squared, which you're going to subtract from the 9x squared, guys. So what does that leave you with? It leaves you with 7x squared, Sugar Plum. So you look at your answer choices. The answer is not this one. The answer is not this one. So guys, what are you left with? Either C or D. Now, come on, Sugar Plums, talk to me. Are you lost? Do you understand what's going on? Do you need me to clarify something for you? Talk to me, Sugar Plums. We just narrowed down the answer choices to 2, guys. Since we narrowed it down to 2 answer choices, guys, that increases your chances of getting this problem right. Guys, let me tell you, on the multiple choice section of these tests, you should be doing excellent with the multiple choice if you have the right test-taking strategies, people. Seriously, these are test-taking strategies I'm giving you. All right, so now, guys, we're left with 2 answer choices. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure out which one is the correct answer. So let's go ahead and use some good old-fashioned common sense to figure this out. Okay, so guys, we're going to continue multiplying. So let's multiply. 3x times -1, that's a -3x. 7 times 3x, guys, that's going to be a positive 21x. And then over here, guys, when we multiply x times 5, that's going to be 5x, but we're subtracting. So guys, you're going to take -3x plus 21x minus 5x. What does that give you? Okay, it's going to give you 13x. So there's your answer. Whoo! Miss Hauser is concerned. By the way, guys, the packet is in the chat. So you guys can actually work on this packet on your own. And if you encounter any questions, okay, any problems that you're having a very hard time with, just bring them to class. Ask me how to do them. By the way, if you want to join the group tomorrow, because I'm going to continue tomorrow, guys, you're welcome to go ahead and join tomorrow, guys, okay? So, guys, let's look. Let me see here. You guys ready? I'm going to stop with number 5, guys, because it's getting late over here. Okay, so number 5, everybody. Okay, because this is right along what we've been talking about, those quadratics. Okay, so for this one, guys, they're giving you this problem right here. This is the quadratic form right here. Okay, and it is equal to all of this over here on the right. What are the values of A, B, and C, guys? So they don't want you to solve this. They just want you to figure out the values of A, B, and C. But guys, it does require a little bit of work. This is time consuming. This is a bit overwhelming. But guys, take your time. Take your time, Sugar Plum, okay? So look at the problem carefully, guys. They want us to multiply these two together right there. They want us to multiply them together. So you got to take the 1.2x multiplied by x. We're just foiling, guys. So that's going to give us 1.2x squared. Okay. Now, guys, I don't have a calculator here. How am I going to do this problem here without a calculator? 1.2x times negative 0.5. Somebody throw that on a calculator for me, please. I think I get negative 0.6x. You guys might want to go ahead and throw that into a calculator for me, okay? And then, guys, I'm going to take 0.3 times x right there. 0.3 times x. And 0.3 times x, let me erase some of this. Okay, I need to erase that. Okay, there we go. 0.3 times x, guys, that's going to give me 0.3x, okay? Plus 0.3x. And then last but not least, guys, I'm going to take the 0.3 multiplied by negative 0.5. 3 times 5 is 15, guys. There's two numbers after decimal. That's going to be negative 0.15 sugar plums, okay? Now, we're going to combine these two together, guys. So we get 1.2x squared minus 0.3x minus 0.015. Now, guys, all of this, okay, needs to be multiplied by the 2 coefficient, okay? So what did I just do? Let's recap, okay? This is what I just did, guys. This is the recap. This is the recap. Okay, this is what I just did, guys. I multiplied these two together right there, okay? Now you see that 2 that was in front of it, guys? So now I'm gonna distribute it. So when I distribute it, I get 2.4x squared minus 0.6x minus 0.3, okay? Now I'm gonna add all of this to it. So I'm gonna add the 0.5x squared plus the 2.5x minus the 1.3, guys. Let's add them up together. Let's add them up. So 2.4 plus 0.5 gives me 2.9. Okay, x squared. And then, guys, negative 0.6 plus 2.5 is going to give me 1.9x. And then negative 0.3 and negative 1.3 gives me negative 1.6. Now, guys, listen. We're supposed to be looking at this from the standpoint of a quadratic equation. Okay, this is a quadratic equation, bx plus c. So guys, in the chat, tell me, what is the a value? What's the a value, guys? Drop it in the chat, guys. What's the a value? What's the a value? Very good, 2.9, the number in front of x squared. Okay, what's the b value, guys? What's the b value? B value. Okay, it's a value, no variable. No variable, it's a value. A value is just a number. Very good, 1.9, good, good, good. And what's the constant? What's the c value, guys? What's the c value? What's the constant? Negative 1.6, very good. Okay. This particular problem right here, listen. This is a really good problem you will find on the test, guys. This is one of the problems you probably will find on the test, okay? Because it requires you to do some kind of work, and then it requires you to go ahead and fill in the answers, okay? Drag and drop the answers. That's what they're called, drag and drop, okay? So guys, I am going to stop here. Let me go ahead and stop the recording. And let me see.